In the middle of the vast blue ocean, where the sea surface stretches to infinity, each wave gently lapping under the morning sunlight, giant fishing boats begin to cut through the waves, carrying the hopes and expectations of an entire fishing industry. On deck, dozens of fishermen are ready for a hard day's work. They are the children of the sea, the people who understand best the harsh and rich laws that the ocean brings. Their target today is giant schools of tuna, a fish with high economic value, popular all over the world. From luxury sushi restaurants in Tokyo to frozen supermarkets in Europe, the fleet uses large purse seine nets, one of the most effective fishing methods today. With a length of hundreds of meters, these nets can cover a school of thousands of tuna. Modern radar and sonar systems were deployed to pinpoint the exact location of the school of fish, where the tuna shadows were moving like a dark cloud under the water. When the signal was clear, the captain ordered the net to be lowered. The hydraulic machine started working, gradually lowering the giant net into the ocean. A tight circle was quickly created. Trapping the entire school of fish in the middle, the bluefin tuna, weighing from tens to hundreds of kilograms, struggled violently in the water. The strong sound of the fish flapping echoed between the sea and sky. Fishermen controlled the net collecting system by machine, pulling each meter of the heavy net onto the deck. Hundreds of tuna gradually appeared, their shiny bodies reflecting the bright sunlight. Each one was brought onto the deck by an automatic crane and conveyor system. Then preliminarily processed on the spot, cutting the gills, taking blood to maintain maximum freshness. On board, the super-fast freezing area operated continuously. After being processed, the tuna are immediately put into cold storage at a temperature below -40 degrees Celsius, ensuring optimal quality for export. The entire process is carried out like a modern chain in the middle of the ocean, where the sea is not only a source of life but also a giant factory. In just one day, the ship can collect hundreds of tons of tuna, a huge output but requires the harmonious coordination between people and machines, between traditional experience and modern technology. And so, day after day, the journey to catch tuna on the high seas continues, not only for a living, but also for passion, pride, and a sacred connection with the deep ocean. When the last tuna are brought up from the water, the deck is already crowded. The distinctive smell of the ocean spreads in the air, the salty smell of the sea mixed with the fresh fishy smell of fish. Like a familiar harmony to veteran fishermen. Under the scorching sun at sea, workers work tirelessly. A team quickly inspects each fish, sorting them by size and quality. The large bluefin tuna, with their silvery skin and deep blue dorsal fins, are taken to the premium freezing area, where they are deep frozen using liquid nitrogen. The aim is to preserve the freshness and cell structure of the fish. Which is required by demanding markets like Japan. Another part of the tuna is processed right on board: decapitation, body cutting, meat filling, all done by skilled hands and specialized machinery. An automated conveyor system takes each fish part through the packaging, vacuuming and sealing process. All of this is done in the middle of the ocean, immediately after the fish is caught, to ensure that not a single moment reduces the quality of the product. At the same time, the captain checks the numbers. The total weight has passed the 100-ton mark, a resounding success. He calls the mainland, updates the return schedule to port, and informs the cold storage facilities to prepare to receive the cargo. In the distance, smaller logistics ships begin to approach, ready to receive the fish from the mothership for early transport to the mainland. To increase operational efficiency and reduce the time the main ship has to stop fishing, a portion of the fish will be sold immediately to wholesale markets and processing plants. The rest, the best quality tuna, will be tagged with a traceability code, clearly stating the catch coordinates. processing time, and frozen status. This information will follow the fish all the way to consumers at 5-star restaurants, where the mere mention of bluefin tuna caught directly from tropical waters is enough to make diners willing to pay hundreds of dollars for a slice of sashimi. Fishermen are not just seafarers. They are now the operators of the global supply chain. They not only bring back catches of fish, but also bring the essence of the sea to the dining tables of millions of people around the world. Each tuna carries not only economic value, but also the dreams, sweat and efforts of countless people who are working day and night at sea. As the sun gradually sets, dyeing the western sea red, the ship turns back to port. Behind it, there are long traces of an arduous but proud journey. On board, the refrigerated containers are full of fish, and in the hearts of the fishermen, there is a quiet but intense joy. They have won a silent race between humans and nature. This is not just a battle between man and fish, but a breathtaking battle of wits between experience and instinct. As the fish is pulled closer to the surface, the hydraulic pull rod starts working, but it cannot completely replace the fisherman's hands, the delicate adjustments in each meter of line, each gentle shaking movement to avoid tearing the fish's flesh, are skills passed down from generation to generation. Once the tuna is brought onto the deck, the processing begins immediately. A specialized team quickly approaches, cuts the gills, takes the blood, cools it with cold seawater, and then transfers it straight to the deep freezer. This entire sequence of operations does not last more than a few minutes, because they understand that the quality of the tuna is not in the size or weight, but in the first seconds of processing after the fish is caught. Longline fishing is a more selective and ecologically friendly method than industrial purse seine. Each fish is caught individually, minimizing the risk of catching other species. As a result, longline tuna are often valued higher, especially in the Japanese market. Where longline tuna can fetch tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands, of US dollars at auction. On board, as the lines are pulled back, the fishermen take a break, wipe off their sweat and observe the fruits of their labor, large tuna lying neatly lined up, their eyes still sparkling, their bodies still shiny in the sunlight. Some quietly record their journey logs, water temperature, wind speed, current, bite times, all valuable information for future trips. As the afternoon progresses, if the purse seine has not been released, the captain will decide to change his strategy, combine both methods, using long lines to select large fish, and using a purse seine to cover the giant school if the sonar signal detects a high density of fish. This is the flexibility of modern fishing, where technology, tradition and experience converge in the same journey. And so, a day at sea for tuna hunters continues, quietly, arduously, but no less glorious. Each tuna brought back to the ship is a small victory, not only for its commercial value, but also for the feeling of conquering nature with human hands and intelligence. When night falls, the ship still drifts in the open sea. Yellow lights from the deck illuminate the tuna crates lying silently under the ice. In the distance, other ships are casting their nets. New lines are cast down, continuing an endless cycle of tuna fishing in the distant ocean. When the hold is full of tuna, when the lines are pulled back, and the last coils of seine nets are neatly folded, the ship begins to turn back to land. The return journey not only carries heavy boxes of fish, but also the quiet pride of each fisherman, after so many storms and waiting. They have won a long battle with the sea. From afar, specialized refrigerated trucks are waiting at the port. When the ship docks, a hydraulic crane is lowered. Each tray of frozen tuna is transferred from the ship's hold to the truck in a closed process. From the moment of docking, Processing time is measured in minutes. After days of chasing bluefin tuna far out at sea, the camera gradually shifts to other fishing fleets, where the atmosphere becomes bustling in a very different way. In a region far to the north, where the cold water and rich nutrients from the ocean currents bring abundance, a fleet of large-capacity fishing boats is beginning their journey. This time, the target is herring, cod, and dozens of other bottom fish that do not live close to the surface but gather in huge schools at depths of 100 to 400 meters. Unlike the traditional handline or purse seine method, here the fishermen use a completely industrialized technique, bottom trawling. The giant vessels are equipped with a system of nets that stretch hundreds of meters, the mouth of which opens like a giant funnel, guided by two submerged boards called otter boards, whose job is to keep the net wide and scrape the seabed. Before dropping the net, the entire crew carefully analyzes the sonar signals, the seabed topography map, and radar data. They do not drop the net randomly, but only where there is a dense fish signal. Everything is calculated: the ship's speed, the depth of the drop, the wind direction, and even the time of sunset, because many fish species such as herring have a habit of moving near the bottom at dusk. When the command is given, the automatic net pulling system works. The steel cables weighing tons begin to release. Dragging the net that is gradually sinking to the ocean floor, the mouth of the net opens like an underwater cave, slowly swallowing the school of fish swimming by. An hour passes. 2 hours. The entire system is monitored by underwater sensors and specialized cameras attached to the top of the net. When the yield is sufficient, the captain gives the order to pull the net. The hydraulic motor roars. Each meter of cable is pulled back. The net was heavy, tight, and vibrating violently. A sign that there was a huge amount of fish inside. As the mouth of the net was pulled up close to the side of the ship, a spectacular sight appeared: hundreds of tons of herring, cod, speck, pollock, flounder, and even squid, all gathered into a giant mass, shimmering like a silver river rising from the sea. The fishermen stood ready, opened the valve to lower the net onto the deck, where the fish sorting and washing system immediately began to operate. Seawater was pumped in to clean the fish, while conveyor belts automatically separated different species using eye cameras that recognized their shape, color, and size. Herring was transferred to a separate line, because it could easily be crushed if handled incorrectly. Cod, a white, fatty variety popular in Northern Europe, was processed quickly, flash frozen, and transferred to cold storage. Small fish, scraps or species of low value will be collected, pressed into fish meal for animal feed or fertilizer. Nothing is wasted during the industrial fishing process. In the freezer, the temperature is always maintained at -35 to 45 degrees Celsius. The entire packaging, vacuuming, and QR code system for traceability is operated smoothly right on the ship, like a mobile processing plant in the middle of the ocean. When the sky just got light, the entire ship's hold was full. A working day of the trawler fleet ended with more than 200 tons of fish of all kinds, processed according to export standards while still drifting in the middle of the ocean. As the sun shines its first rays on the calm sea, the fishing boats for croaker fish begin to weigh anchor and leave the harbor. This is one of the most valuable fish in the international market. With firm, low-fat meat and a rich flavor that is popular from Japan to Europe. To catch this fish, fishermen use longline fishing, a technique that requires perseverance, experience and consensus between people and the sea. The specialized boat gradually glides across the water, leaving behind a silver wave trail. On the deck, thousands of hooks have been attached with small bait, lined up in a row, ready to be dropped into the deep sea. The ropes are tens of kilometers long, each carrying hundreds of hooks, carefully wound in the ship's hold. The captain gives the signal, and the fishing rig begins to work. Each rope is let drift along the water, slowly but precisely, weaving through the layers of water. Where croaker fish often appear. The sea gradually changes color as the sun rises, and the first signs of a good catch begin to appear. The lines vibrate gently, a signal from the deep sea that the bait has taken the bait. Each reel starts to work, gradually pulling the fishing line up to the deck. The first dried fish sparkle in the sunlight, long, silvery blue bodies, struggling violently as they are pulled up from the water. The fishermen work tirelessly. Each fish is removed from the hook, taken straight to the cold storage.
Where sunlight cannot reach, the battle between humans and giant stingrays takes place in silence.
Area to maintain absolute freshness. The atmosphere on the boat is tense and exciting at this time. The laughter mixed with the sound of the fishing line rolling, the sound of fish hitting the deck, creating a lively symphony between humans and the ocean. Dried fish are predators, often appearing in large schools at medium depths offshore. Therefore, fishermen must understand the rules of ocean currents, the time when the water changes color, and the experience of their ancestors to accurately determine the fishing spot. A single misplaced line, or a wrong timing, can result in a whole trip ending in failure. It is not just a hunt. It is also a silent dialogue between man and the sea. Each successful catch is the result of decades of accumulated experience, of the perseverance of many generations of fishermen clinging to the sea. The fish pulled up not only bring economic value, but also the proud achievements of those who live off the ocean. When the cold storage box on the ship is full, when the afternoon light begins to set on the sea, the ship slowly turns back to shore. The sun-tanned backs, the calloused hands, but the bright eyes, all create a realistic and touching image of the life of fishermen at sea. And tomorrow, they continue their journey, wandering in the vast ocean, continuing the journey of catching dried fish in the open sea. Under the pale morning sunlight, when the sea is still misty and the waves are still as gentle as the whisper of the ocean, experienced fishermen prepare for a new journey, catching croaker, a catfish that lives deep in the seabed, with traditional longlines. Unlike giant trawls, this method requires patience, delicate techniques and the perfect combination of man and sea. From the deck, the fishermen begin to cast thousands of meters of long lines, each section of which is attached with hundreds of hooks pre-hooked with fresh bait such as small fish, squid or shrimp. They know very well that croaker is not easily fooled. This fish is intelligent, lives alone and often hides deep in the cold sand. Therefore, the position of the fishing line must be absolutely precise, based on decades of experience as well as modern fish finding equipment. Each large coil of line is slowly lowered into the sea, sinking deep into the ocean floor where croaker hides. When the line is stable, The ship quietly anchors in the middle of the vast ocean, and the fishermen begin to wait. This period often lasts for many hours, sometimes all day, but that is the special feature of longline fishing. It requires endurance and trust in the ocean. When the time is ripe, the sailors